What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Moments. I am your host, Jada Lowe. The common question, the question that is always asked at the beginning of the pod, but first, let me have some couth, whether you are watching or listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is a podcast where we talk about being mindful of today, just today, baby. That's all I got in me for a better tomorrow. So, how are y'all feeling? How are y'all doing? On a scale of 1 to 10, for me, I am at the time of this recording, I'm at a 6.78. I'm not like crazy great, but I'm not like crazy bad. Like I'm pretty neutral. I need a nap. I think if I take me a couple of naps, like I'm winded, I'm exhausted, but I think if I take me like a couple of naps, I think I may be pretty good. Pretty good. Just got a lot of things I'm juggling right now. But all in all, everything is really well. So it's like a really good 7. I'll give you that. I'm at a good 7. But yeah. So how are y'all feeling? How are y'all doing? More important question rather, which is really what I want to talk about. When was the last time you guys like checked in with yourself? Talk to yourself and ask yourself, like, am I really doing okay? Do y'all ask yourself if you're doing okay? Like, do y'all make that work? Like, what kind of questions, what kind of check-ins do y'all have with yourself? Do you have check-ins? Do you not have check-ins? Do you think check-ins are necessary? They are. Yeah. I believe that's an important question to just ask, especially being that we're at the over the halfway mark in the year. And just from January to now, like so much is going on in the world. So much is going on in people's lives. It's a lot going on, y'all. It is a lot going on to the point where it can be overwhelming, to the point where we may even be desensitized. I know I'm a little desensitized to certain stuff right now just because it's overwhelming to think about, overwhelming to even address, and overwhelming to just see. It's a lot going on. And so I feel like it's necessary for us to check in with ourselves and to check in with the people around you to see how the people around you are doing too. But yeah, I just wanted this episode to really serve as a check-in to make sure we're checking in on ourselves in every aspect. And even, in asking, how are you doing? If the answer isn't what you want it to be at the moment, or if the answer isn't good at the moment, that's completely fine. And quite frankly, completely understandable. But I just want y'all to make sure that you're taking care of yourselves and checking in with yourselves to see how you're taking care of yourself. But yeah, so like physically, how are y'all doing? Have you guys, you know me, I'm going to ask the question, have you guys been moving? Have y'all been moving your body? Have you been getting in some type of physical activity? Have y'all been walking? How have y'all been eating? For the people my age, I'm hoping multiple ages listen to this podcast, but for the people my age, I'm 28, not yet an auntie. However, from the ages of like 24 to mid 30s, y'all, I think it's time we put down the hot Cheetos. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to try my best not to go off on a tangent. I'm getting somewhere, I promise. But we have to put down the hot Cheetos, and hear me out. I say this with love. We got to put down the spicy bowls. We are in a spicy bowl crisis right now. I was on TikTok the other week, and a girl had ribs on top of a spicy bowl. And I'm just like, it gets to a point. Like, do we ever think any of this is outlandish? Like, is this for the clicks? Is this for the click rate? Is this for the CPM? There's no way we're putting ribs on spicy bowls for clicks. I saw a girl eating hot ruffles out of a treadmill. What are we doing? I just think it gets to, okay, how are y'all eating? We have to get to a point where we want to be mindful about what we put in our bodies. And maybe this is falling on deaf ears. Maybe it's going in one ear and out the other. But that's disclaimer. I am an advocate for a 10-piece honey hot, 10-piece hot, 10-piece lemon pepper, 10-piece extra hot, extra honey hot. However, I do that in moderation, or I do it every now and then. But I'm saying, like, we're regularly eating hot Cheetos, Takis, and spicy bowls. Y'all stomach, y'all rib cage about right there, gonna have a hole in it. We have, and I'm being humorous, but I'm being so serious, y'all. Like, I really feel like it gets to a point where you get to a certain age where it's like, dog, you can't be eating that stuff. Like, the spicy bowls, that's just not my cup of tea. If you want a little hot Cheeto every now and then, I get it. But as far as like snacking regularly or even every so often, with let that be every blue moon. You know, it gets to a point where we have to put down the Skittles and hot Cheetos. It's like, when was the last time you picked up, like, you just went to the grocery store and got a pineapple? Or you just went to the store and got some grapes? Or you just went to the store, or you just went to Tropical Smoothie and got an Island Green that had strawberries? You know, it's like we have to get to a point where we have to start taking ourselves a little seriously. And I'm being so funny, yet I'm being so for real. We have to, at a certain age, we have to fuel our body if we want to be here, or do what we can in our control to be here for a good time and a long time. Y'all say I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Baby, by the grace of God, I'm trying to be here for both of them. Both of them. But it's like, how are you guys eating? What are we eating? Are we at least trying to make some better decisions? Your nutrition doesn't have to be perfect. I do advocate for striving to make healthier decisions and do, like, get you your fruits, your vegetables, get your in all seriousness, fuel your body correctly. But even if you one of them people like, well, you really just don't care, to each his own. But are we making some wiser decisions? There's no way we're eating spicy bowls and we feel up to functioning every day. I can't. That don't sit right with me. So can y'all promise me, if you're one of those people and you just have to be listening, promise me that you will try to go to the store and get some type of fruit and get some type of vegetable. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. Are we eating better? Are we moving? Even if it's just for 10 minutes out the day, are we moving? We do a lot of sitting. We do a lot of standing. A lot of things make our body tense. Are we going loosey-goosey at any point in the time of day? Are we moving? Ooh. Y'all know we live in grind culture. Are y'all sleeping? Are we getting rest? Are we getting enough rest? Now the rest piece throws me for a loop sometimes. Mind you, granted, I'm going to get my sleep. If it's one thing Jada is going to do, Jada is going to get her sleep. I'm going to sleep. But are y'all getting y'all's rest? How are we doing physically overall? That's one of the key areas, I would say, right under, like, spiritually and mentally. That's like really, 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 really important. So how are y'all doing physically? Let's check in mentally, because we're youngins. I'm going to try to be young for as long as I can be. But we have a lot of things that we are susceptible to just consuming, even if we don't want to, because we have social media and because we have the internet. So I just encourage you guys, like, to be mindful of what you're consuming, be mindful of who you're watching, what you're watching, how long you're watching. I'm guilty of that. Like, I really got to do a better job at night before I go to bed and not doom scrolling. It's like I be so busy with work, and sometimes, like, when I get a little break, I'll doom scroll, because I'll be wanting, like, a little laugh or just some type of entertainment as a break through from the day. But I really have to do a better job of not doom scrolling. And, like, if I do doom scroll, maybe not doom scrolling for 30 minutes, but instead 10, then going to bed, you know. But just finding different things to do outside of just, because honestly, the internet and social media and just having a phone, that's a lot of stuff that you're taking in, even down to, like, your messages. Between my messages, my socials, I don't really watch the news like that every now and then, but just, like, hearing stuff, we consume far more than we can imagine. And that can take a toll on your brain without you even knowing it. The internet and social media have been around for a long time, yes, but in the sense of where we have so much information and so many people at our fingertips within the past few years, within recent years, we are inadvertently taking in so much. And so touch grass. Just go out there and put your big toe and put your pinky toe in some grass and just cut your phone off for a second. Put your phone on. If it's one thing that I will also do, I will put my phone on D&D. I have a habit of checking my messages and stuff, but for the most part, like sometimes I get very overstimulated when there's so many messages coming in. And let's not forget the scam calls. The scam calls are more than enough reason to cut that phone off. Why are y'all calling me from 502? And it's like it'll be the same area code with the same number. And then they got the nerve to take your local area code. It's like, what are you even doing here? Get on somewhere. Block them. You got 10 more coming back. So between the spam, between the emails, between the socials, between the other side of the internet, between having to respond, between responding to work calls, responding to work texts, yada, 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 it's like, it needs to cut off at a certain point. So I encourage y'all to be mindful of what you're consuming, or even if you're in a place where you like have to consume, try to find some time where you can just cut everything off into where your mind has a chance to think for itself. I didn't even mention AI. While AI is good for when you use it correctly, but just it's so much, y'all. It's so much that puts a mental strain on us without us even knowing. And so I just encourage y'all to take care of yourself mentally and emotionally by just stepping away from your phone sometimes. Sometimes cutting, we're going on Do Not Disturb, putting like a sleep mode on. I don't know how the Android users do it. Love you. But just setting the times on your phone to cut things off and to just let your mind breathe. Let your mind breathe. Do you guys feel like cluttered? Are y'all giving yourself space to think? That really just kind of goes back to just cutting your phone off, because when you're taking in so much, your mind can get cluttered with so many things that don't even pertain to you. I don't even have time to, when was the last time you asked yourself, okay, well, what do I think about this? Because it's so easy when you consume so much to take on what other people think, regardless of if you want to or not, regardless of if you agree with it or not. You're just doing so much consuming to where you don't have time to even be reflective of the things that you're even watching. So just take some time to cut that phone off. Cut that phone off. And mentally too, like just making sure you encourage yourself. And if you feel like you're in a place where it's hard or you can't, having people around you that can speak life into you, that can encourage you, and also encourage somebody else. That's one thing that I found that can help you mentally and emotionally too, because you don't know, given everything I just said, you do not know what people are going through. People are going through so much and walk out the house and put a smile on their face. So be encouraging to somebody else as well. Let's talk spiritually. So how we doing spiritually? For my people that are believers, are we connected to the Lord? We doing our devotion? We reading our word? We got a scripture today? What are we working with? How we looking? Have we fallen off? Are we trying to get back more consistent? What are you connected to? Who are you connected to? For me, I'm connected to the Lord. The big G, the big O, and the big D. So yeah, that is one of the things when I found, like, when I do check in with myself and I feel like kind of off, that's normally the first place that I try to go to kind of recalibrate myself, to kind of like to get my equilibrium back. And that helps everything else, because everything else for me in particular flows through me and how my spiritual self is. Did I say that right? How I am spiritually, I found that everything flows from that. There we go. See, I'm going to find it. It just may take a minute. So yeah, so how are we doing spiritually? And even like going back to mentally too, like spiritually, I've been working on hearing God better. However, it's like you can't hear if you don't listen, or if you aren't quiet to hear, which goes back to like reading my Bible, and just sometimes just sitting still. Like I can like meditate and sit still, but sometimes just sitting still to see if or when God is going to say something to me. And that, like I was saying, going back to the mental aspect of sometimes it's hard to sit still when your mind is so busy running from things you've consumed, which is also why I feel like it is important to just take some time to just sit and be still, to kind of retrain your mind to just stop, to be still, to be steady, to be patient, and to just really, honestly, to just slow down, just slow down. Be spiritually sitting still. When was the last time that you prayed? When was the last time that you did your devotion? When was the last time that you poured into yourself spiritually by connecting with the Lord? Emotional, mental. I used to always think, mental and emotional, that they went together, but they're really cousins. This is my cousin. How are we handling our emotions? Emotional regulating is like a big word in the social internet streets right now. But it is something that is very important. And this is going back to, just because of the time that I feel like I've grown up in. I'm a late 90s baby, so I'm grateful to have had like all the Blockbuster and all that. But I've seen the side of, like, I don't even want to call it retro, but like the good times, and also like the heavy internet times. But yeah, so taking in so much can also affect us emotionally, and consuming so much can affect us emotionally, because we're receiving so much. So how are we doing emotionally? Are we suppressing our feelings? Are we expressing ourselves? Back to emotional regulation. The things you see on the internet or just in life can cause you, or just the things that we go through can cause you to react in certain ways. So are you being mindful of how you're reacting to things? Are there certain things that you're reacting to that really don't deserve your attention like that? Are there some things that you feel like don't deserve your attention, or you could be quiet on, when in all actuality it's something that you should probably responsibly and healthily speak on? What things don't deserve your attention? What things do? Are there some areas where you could be a little more calm? Are there some areas where you could be a little more assertive or stern in your standing? Are there some things that you could be more vocal about? What are you doing when like those hard emotions show up, or when something that you're really struggling with shows up? How are you handling yourself emotionally? How are you taking care of yourself emotionally? All of that really, just for me, that goes back to being prayerful spiritually, but also taking like some mental inventory. But that's just something that you will have to sit down. Like, these are questions that I hope that you guys take with y'all to ask yourself as you maneuver through. For me personally, I've really been trying to, so I can get irritated like with certain stuff. So for more specifically, my patience can be tested, and I can just get irritated. And the biggest place of my irritation has been when I've been driving, because I feel like people show their, I want to say stupidity so bad, but I'm working on my words. People don't know how to drive. People do not know how to drive. And so my thing is, why are you riding on my tail to where you can look at the dashboard of my car and we can't go nowhere? There's a car in front of me, there's a car behind you, and I'm in front of you. And the lanes to either side of us, whether we're on a divided highway, the lane to the left or right of me, there's nowhere for you to go. What is the point of you riding on my tail? That irritates me. I was driving the other day, and it scared me so bad to where like it's traumatized me a little bit. But I hate it when people speed up. Like Buddy he was on that phone. He was speeding up. Like, y'all, we were on like a 45, 50 highway, and he was speeding up. I was like, he's about to hit me. And I was like, no, he's not about to hit me. And I was like, Jada, he's about to hit you. I had to swerve on the shoulder / grass of the road. And he was I just thank God. But it made me so, it really upset me. And God has a sense of humor, because he decided to do like yeah, I pray for patience, so you test my patience. It's like, can you just give me a patient heart? Can this just be a snap? But I know he's like, no, you actually need to learn this and you need to apply this. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I've just been finding where like things that can easily irritate me, I've been trying. Now, that driver situation I just mentioned, that was just complete foolishness. That's something different. But when smaller stuff comes up that just irritate me, I've been trying to do a better job of slowing down and being like, I know you're a little riled up in this moment, but does this really deserve that reaction? Or can this energy go to something else? And it's hard. It's hard, especially when people be out here just like, why? Like, why would you do that? That's what makes me irritated. I'm like, why would you do that? What is the point? What is the point of doing? I just fail to understand, like, what is the point of you doing that? And that's what irritates me, because I wouldn't necessarily do it. So what you got going on, But then it's like, everybody don't do it. You get my point. Emotional regulation. Everything doesn't deserve my attention. And so I have been trying to actually be honest with myself, because the small thing, when people that's all I got. Because you know how you talk about somebody that make you irritated all over again? That's how I will get. So in this moment, I am choosing to exercise emotional regulation by advising you guys to take inventory of your emotions and asking yourself, does this deserve the reaction that I'm going to give it? I was not expecting to get that riled up off of that, but it toasts my buns, And so I'm going to leave that there. I advise you guys to try to emotionally regulate. Yeah. So let's talk relational. How are our relationships going for people who are in romantic relationships? How's your romantic relationship going? For friendships, how are those going? And little birdie on my window. 3 little birds sat on my window. Oh, they sound so good. Y'all probably won't be able to hear them, but they sound so good. But relationally, check in with me and check in with yourselves. Where are you guys right now? Do you feel like your relationships, whether romantic or platonic, are supporting you? Do you feel like you're in a place where you can support those relationships? Are those relationships draining you? Are you a drain to your relationships? So that's one thing that we need to talk about, because I feel like we're in such a self-absorbed society where it's like, they no longer serve me. They don't do this and this and this. It's like, what if you're the person that you're talking about? What if you're the person that doesn't serve somebody else? What if you're the person that just wasn't a good friend in a season? What if you were the person who wasn't good in this relationship? Like, let's talk about both sides of it. So yes, are your relationships, are there any that you need to like take note of that may be draining you? And if it's worth fighting for, is it something worth fighting for? Is it something that's not worth fighting for? Or also on the flip side, is it something that you're willing to contribute to? And are you the person who may be taking or sucking the life out of something, Are you the one that's draining the friendship? Are you the one that's draining the relationship? I think, when we talk about each of these aspects, more specifically relationally, because that has a person on each side. But let's talk about both sides of it too. Like, be honest about how you're showing up in your friendships and relationships. Like, be completely honest about that. Are you showing up for people? But also, are people showing up for you? Do you feel like you're in a season where you feel like you just need people, but you may not know how to articulate it, but you also feel like people aren't showing up? Sometimes we have to be responsible enough that even though it's like the duality of, you have to communicate when you need help, and also trusting and being prayerful that the people in your life will be able to sense when you need for them to show up. I feel like that should be an equal pool. Sometimes people don't know when to show up because they have their own things going on, but sometimes you want to have those people where they can just kind of sense that you just need some support. Is there anything that you need to fix? Is there anything that needs repairing? Or is there anything relationally that you just need to let go of? Is there any, because when it comes to like letting go of things, some things unexpectedly leave, right? But there are also some relationships where it's just like you have a gut feeling of like, I think it's time for this to go, you know? So relationally ask yourself those questions, and just ultimately when you ask yourself these questions, and it goes back to just how am I doing? How am I showing up, and how am I doing? You can be doing great externally, but on the inside you could be crumbling. And so I just wanted this episode to really just serve as a means of checking in, of doing an audit on how you're doing as a person. Ask yourself those questions. How are you doing, and how are you showing up? Because sometimes how we show up is based on how we're doing. Just ask yourself those questions. I really just wanted this episode to be a means of just checking in, because we can get so caught up in ripping and running and ripping and dilly-dallying to where we don't check in on ourselves. And if we were to actually sit down, we would realize all the while we were operating on fumes. And I feel like you can function more optimally if you periodically have sit downs with yourself and ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself how you're doing in each aspect of your life. Because you can be doing great on the outside, theoretically, but on the inside, when you actually sit down and look in, you'll see that you could actually potentially be on the verge of crumbling. So if you feel like, you're just not where you want to be, or not doing, not doing what you think you should be doing, but you just feel like something's not there, just check in with yourself to see how you're doing. I feel like I feel like I'm beating a dead horse when I say this, but I always feel like it's important to just ask yourself questions. I'm the type of person where I'm just always asking myself questions. I talk to myself a lot, and I think things through reflectively a lot. And I just want people to understand like the importance and just the value of that. But yeah, though the areas that I mentioned, start with one area. Ask yourself, like, what area have I been neglecting? What area has fallen short or has taken the back burner just in life right now? And then work on that area. Be honest with yourself in that area, and ask yourself, how you can take better care of yourself in that area. And when I, talk about taking care of yourself, like getting a massage, going to the spa, the self-care, all of that is great. All of that is also external. Like, how can you be well on the inside? Being well on the outside is great. Looking great on the outside is great. However, how are you doing on the inside? How is your heart doing? How is your mind doing? How is your soul doing? I feel like that is where the fulfillment comes in. And I believe we should all strive to be holistically well, not just physically, but holistically, especially spiritually. So just ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself, what can I be doing to make sure I am whole and well overall? And just ask yourself those questions, and hopefully you can make some headway in those areas. So this was just a little check-in. What area do I need to check in with myself? I feel like I could check in with myself emotionally, probably emotionally and spiritually. I've been checking in spiritually, but I feel like I could do emotionally, like tighten up emotionally a little bit better, just as far as like, working on not getting so irritable on the road, but also just being mindful of how I show up how I show up in my friendships. That's been something that I've been wanting to be more mindful of. So I hope this episode helped you guys. Leave in the comments, or just get back to me on what area you feel like hit the hardest for you, and what area that you're working on, regularly checking in on yourself. And I hope you guys are continuing to do well and be well. This has been another episode of Mindful Moments. Again, I'm your host, Jada Lowe. I will catch you guys in the next episode.